జాతీయవాద జర్నలిజానికి అసలైన వేదిక నేషనలిస్ట్ హబ్ ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకోండి. నోటిఫికేషన్స్ కోసం బెల్ ఐకాన్ పై క్లిక్ చేయండి.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Conversations on Nationalist Hub. Today, we are here to discuss a subject that has been raging around the country, a subject that is a part of a movie called the Kerala Story. On 1st of May evening, a few of us attended a special screening of the movie in a theatre in Hyderabad. It shook us up. Many in the audience who are not from Kerala were aghast at what is happening in the state. Many didn't know what hit them. They couldn't even get up from their seats after the movie was over, and took them a couple of minutes to realize what they had seen. For me, as a Keralite, it was not that shocking because we all knew what was happening there. But the world outside Kerala did not know that. And many in Kerala don't want that to be known, as we saw the challenge in the Supreme Court, High Courts and various other places to stop this movie. But the movie is being released today. And that's what we all are waiting for. And a huge audience outside Kerala is waiting to see what the Kerala story is all about. Today we are going to talk about something very, very different. We are not talking about what happened in Syria or Afghanistan or anywhere for that matter. We are speaking about a girl called Anagha, Dr. Anagha Jayagopalan. A girl, a lady who went into the Islamic fold and came back into the Sanatana Dharma. Her journey is fascinating. Her journey is a story to every parent, every teacher of us, every religious leader, that if we don't teach our children what our religion is all about, what our gods are all about, this can happen to our children, our daughters, and maybe even our sons. So ladies and gentlemen, let's start by asking Anagha her story, her background. She is Dr. Anagha Jayagopalan, a physiotherapist by profession, and today she is a very, very committed Sanatana Dharma worker. Anagha, welcome to the show. Welcome to Nationalist Hub.
Namaste, Suresh sir.
Namaste. So Anagha, let me start by asking you very fascinating story of, I saw a couple of videos of you which are very disturbing actually. You were like any other normal Hindu girl growing up in a Brahmin family at a place called Irinyalakuda in Thrissur district of Kerala, which is very close to my hometown, my village, actually just 6 kilometers from my village in Thrissur district. And it is a place which has a lot of religious significance because one of the biggest temples in Bharat, the Kudalmanikam Kshetram, is there. It was a place where mathematics had its history through Madhavacharya sir and many others. But more importantly, I want to know from you what your family was like. And your sister is also on this show, Anusha. She will join us later. But right now, we have Anagha who will speak about her family and just give us a background of where you come from, what did your family looking like, and what are the various things that you went through in the initial days. Anagha, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Suresh sir. As you said, I was born and brought up in a Brahmin family. And we were following so much rituals and customs and all that. But even though we were following all that, we are not getting proper Sanatana dharmic studies. Hence, I was ignorant of my dharma. Even while performing most of the customs, I used to think why we are doing this all, because we are not knowing the meaning. Without knowing the meaning itself, we are performing all the customs. So since childhood onwards, I thought that why we are performing these types of customs and rituals, and why are we praying to God, all these things. I was thinking from childhood onwards. But when I asked to my parents also, they will say that we are following what our ancestors done. So just follow what they have done. They will say like that only. And so even though I was born and brought up in a Brahmin family, I didn't got any proper dharmic education, or I was unaware of what are real culture or history about India.
No, naturally, Anagha, I'm sorry interrupting you there, but I think it's very fascinating for people to know, and I will butt in with a bit of Telugu here for our Telugu viewers also. Anagha, I'm sorry I interrupted you there. Anagha, పుట్టింది పెరిగింది కేరళలో ఇరిഞ്ഞാലക്കുട అనే ఒక చిన్న సిటీ అని చెప్పొచ్చు, టౌన్ అని చెప్పొచ్చు, త్రిశూర్ డిస్ట్రిక్ట్లో ఒక బ్రాహ్మిన్ ఫ్యామిలీలో పెరిగింది ఆమె. షీ గ్రూ అప్ ఇన్ అ బ్రాహ్మిన్ ఫ్యామిలీ అండ్ ఫ్రమ్ దేర్ షీ ఈస్ డిస్క్రైబింగ్ అబౌట్ హర్ జర్నీ, her lack of knowledge due to people not telling her what really happened. Anagha, please go on. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
But I have to say that mine was a practicing Brahmin family, that we had a daily puja in our house itself, like what we do in temples. We were reciting all the namas daily, and that is the Sandhya Nama. We were doing that properly. I have to say that I come from a practicing Brahmin family.
Yeah, that's very, very, very disturbing, because when you are from a practicing Brahmin family and you know the rituals, but there was nobody to tell you what the rituals were all about.
Yeah.
This is the first sign where we as a
Exactly.
Hindu dharma, or as a Hindu practitioners of the Hindu faith have failed, that we are not able to tell our children what
Yeah.
those rituals are for. They just do it
Yes,
because we tell them,
exactly.
isn't it?
Exactly.
So Anagha, from there you moved in your quest of studies to another place that is basically a place close to the town of Irinjalakuda, from where you come from. So you can even talk about Irinjalakuda as a town for people who don't know. I think you can go into a bit of background about the town and how the place is all about.
Yeah, Hirnalakuda is mostly famous for, as you said, the Udalmanikyam temple, which is the only temple of Bharata, that is the brother of Rama. It is famous during the time of Nalambala Darshana, and also it is the land of arts and cultures. Most of the artists like Innocent, Tovino, Idavela Babu, all are from, most of them are from Irnalakuda.
So your shift from Irinjalakuda, from a town like that, into the nearby town that you moved in for your education, can you just talk us through where, how you moved out from there, what were you studying, and can just take us through that, please?
After completing my plus 2, I moved for the higher studies, that is for studying physiotherapy. I moved to Ernakulam. I studied there in Medical Trust Hospital.
But
in
more
Ernakulam
importantly,
itself.
Anagha, sorry interrupting you there, I think you can go back and talk about your schooling, because I found that very, very interesting. You studied in a convent school, so you were talking more about that part of your life also, isn't it?
Yeah, from KG standard, that is LKG to 10th standard, for about 12 years, I studied in a convent school. And I used to, or we were forced, not, I mean, I don't want to say that forced, but it was their prayers. Their Mass and prayers, we have to attend all that. Even the Hindu students want to attend all the Christian prayers. And we learned all the prayers from childhood onwards, because they are treating like that only. But the Muslim students were given some consideration, because they were not forced to come to the Christian prayers, because they know they will never come. Only Hindus were forced to come to these Christian prayers. And they told that every religion is the same. So what if you call Krishna or Christ? It is the same. So you can worship Christ also. They were saying like that. And we were promoted to go to the church and pray there. So I was thinking that all religion are one. They are pointing to one God. And so what is the problem if somebody follows any religion? It is quite normal. I was thinking like that during my school days. And after school, completing the school, I got admission for the +1, +2 in a government school. And the experience there was, for me, was quite surprising, because there only I came to know that during Fridays, that is during the Fridays, during the lunch interval, that is usually lunch time is for about only 45 minutes, but only during Fridays there will be extra 1 hour, that is for the prayer of Muslims. That
Yeah.
is
I remember that. I remember you telling me that. Yes, correct.
That Okay, only after reaching the government school, I came to know that during these Fridays, the Muslims were given extra time for their prayer. I was surprised because why? Even in a government school, special consideration is given to a particular religion only. I thought that there will be something special about that religion or what. Why they even the government is giving some special consideration for this for their prayer. I thought that, and I was thinking at that time itself, uh, there may be something special about that religion, but I have no intention to convert or study about Islam at that time. Since my thought was just like every religion is saying, every religion or every religion points to the same God, and no matter what, whoever follows which religion, no matter what. And I was thinking like that. And after completing my plus two only, I went to Ernakulam for the higher studies. That is, I wanted to study physiotherapy, and I went to Ernakulam. From the Ernakulam, my life started to changing.
How was that? Basically, you studied in a convent school from the lower classes, LKG, right up to the 10th class, where you are exposed to also the Christian prayers and other things. You had to attend the church, whereas the Muslim students, the Hindu students had to attend. The Muslim students were given kind of relaxation because they wouldn't agree to come to the church. That was okay with the school authorities, but Hindus had to come to the prayer hall and do attend all that. I mean, we've seen that in many convent schools. Many of our viewers who have studied in those convent schools will also be aware of it. But the main thing that came about, the change that came about, I remember reading about you, is that when you came into Ernakulam, which is a twin city, you can call it, of Cochin, for those who are not really aware of it, that's where I think your concept of your thinking about Islam came into being. Correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, exactly. I was totally ignorant about my dharma, our nation's real history, and the current affairs going on. So, actually, I must say that this ignorance led me to the study of Islam. And my Islamic studies started from my college days. I was staying there in a hostel, and between the casual conversations, religion also became a topic among us friends. And my Muslim friends asked me many questions about the customs and rituals practiced by Hindus and the meaning of those practices and all. As I was unaware of those things, I kept silent. But I asked some questions, these questions to my parents, and they also didn't have proper answers. So, and they simply said that just because our ancestors had done this, we are also following, that's all. Obviously, I was not satisfied with the answers, and my friends kept on asking me questions like, why do you have so many gods? Why are you worshipping God with elephant's head or monkey's face and all? And I stood like a failure in front of them. And to find those answers, I started to search in social medias. Even from there also, I didn't get any proper answers, I have to say that. And no one was there to properly guide me. So I thought that Hinduism is totally wrong, and it is something man-made. And at this confused state, my friends and colleagues started to tell me about Islam. They told me that their one and only God is Allah, and told me about the Prophet Muhammad, the Holy Book Quran, and they started explaining all these things. As they are studying their religion from the childhood onwards, that is from madrasas, and on the other hand, I didn't get any religious education. They could easily influence me and misguide me. And once they noticed that I was interested in Islam, they gave me more books like Quran translations, that is tafsir, and they showed me the videos of Zakir Naik, M.M. Akbar, and all. And I was slowly brainwashing to that ideology.
No, that's what Anagha, it is very subtle, and those of us people like me who have seen that movie actually know how that happens. It happens very, very subtly before you realize. When they start questioning you as to why do you have an elephant-headed god? Why do you worship stones? Or why do you, as you said, why do you worship Lord Hanuman, who's a monkey? And that is the kind of questioning that happens. I think from there on, that subtle brainwashing moves into the next case, which is very aggressive.
We have to say that there are mainly 3 steps in the brainwashing, the strategy for brainwashing. That is, first they will ask questions, and once we are confused, they will start criticizing our religion, our gods, our rituals, our practices. And even at that stage, if we are not able to answer, they will slowly start to brainwash. This is the conversion strategy they are using for brainwashing somebody, a non-Muslim to a Muslim. It is, I think it is clearly depicted in that trailer of the Kerala story. They are asking questions, they are criticizing, and slowly injecting their ideology to Shalini in Krishna.
Actually, it's more elaborate in the movie, because you haven't seen the movie yet. I think you're going to see it as soon as it's released on the 5th of May. But I think the point where you're coming home, sometimes the hostel is a weak point, because that is the place where you said your Muslim friends slowly kind of indoctrinated you into Islam. But what happens when you came home? I think here I should bring in Anusha. Anusha, if you're there, if you can join us in this call, I need to ask you, how is it that what changes did you see in your sister when she came home on vacation, and what did you notice the subtle changes? How did your parents react to it?
First of all, thank you Suresh ji and NHTV for giving us an opportunity to share our experience. Before moving to the subject, let me introduce myself. I am Anagha Jayagopalan, sister of Anagha and full-time worker of Ashvidya Samajam. I am not a victim of religious conversion, but represent a family which has suffered the terror of religious conversion. I have one thing to ask those who are clamoring that there is no love jihad and no conversion, is that whether they have gone through a situation like that. Even I think of a family situation 2 years before, when Anagha revealed that she is going to convert. Now also, I can't control my emotions. My heart is still trembling thinking of that situation. As a sister, I saw her in the 2 stages, that is, how she before and after practicing the ideologies of Islam. It was a complete change, because she was a person who is always talkative and very fond of dance and music. But after brainwashed with this Islamic ideologies, she stopped dancing and singing because it's haram in Islam. She started less talking and her attitude towards us completely changed. We who loved her most were just kafirs for us, as Islam teaches, don't accept your parents and siblings until they follow Islam. She even don't bother whatever happened to us. She even tried to convert us and was able to take our younger sister, her name is Amrita, to this path at least 50%. But Amrita, who is very passionate into dance and was not ready to accept the ideology that dance and music are haram in Islam. So after that, she didn't follow Islam. It was such a worse situation in our family, because as Anagha explained, we are from a family which follow a lot of religious custom and rituals. We also shared a huge bond among us. Everything was going very happily till she revealed that she is going to convert. After that, each day was like hell for us, seeing our parents crying all days in front of us, but not able to do anything to make them happy. Every night my father came to me and asked with tears that she will not leave us now. I was heartbroken because I am helpless. I have no idea what to do, but was ready to do anything to bring her from the clutches of Islam. She started doing namaz at home, where daily pujas and prayers was happening, and started to wear hijab while going outside. Actually, we tried so many ways to bring her back. We have approached many astrologers and all, but nothing worked out.
Yeah, I'll come to that. Anusha, thank you very much. I understand the pain you're going through, the pain your family went through. I saw that in a few of the interviews. But I'll switch over to Anagha right now. Anagha, the question that I want to ask you is very simple. In fact, what Anusha was telling us was the pain that the family went through when you came back during the COVID time. You were at home, but you started doing namaz at home in a family which is a Brahmin family where pujas and rituals are a constant part of your life. You started wearing a hijab, you started going to the nearby clinic to work, and people started noticing the differences in you. Were you not aware of the fact that your parents who brought you and your two sisters up so well would be troubled by all this behavior of yours? You didn't have any remorse, or was Islam kind of taken over you completely?
As my sister said, it is taught in the Islam that when if our parents are non-Muslims, you don't have to obey them. You don't have to consider them as parents. So I have studied this. I consider them as kafirs only. It is said in the Quran clearly that how to behave to a kafir. You can behave him as much as cruel as you can to the kafirs. So even my parents were heartbroken. It doesn't affect me because I thought that they are kafirs only. They are not going to embrace Islam. They are going to live and die as kafirs only. So they will surely will get hell punishment. So what if their life, whatever happens in their life is not going to affect me, or I will not have to bother it, because I was deeply brainwashed with this radical ideology, and I hated all the even Hindu gods, Hindu organizations. Even I don't want to hear the word Hindu. They even told me that our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is against Muslims, and he is going to make this a Hindu nation. And these all were fed in my brain, and I was completely against all the Hindus. Even I considered my parents as just kafirs only.
That is very sad, Anagha, but I understand what you are going through. You did try and go and convert in a place where the religious conversions take place, I think, but that place was closed due to COVID or something like that. Please, can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. After 5 years of my Islamic study, I decided to live as a Muslim woman. I want to be known as a Muslim woman, so I have to legally convert. And I was working at that time in Kozhikode, and I contacted Tarbiyatul Islamic Sabha, a Mujahid conversion center, Salafi conversion center, and I contacted them. And it was the time of Corona, so they responded that no new admissions are being taken till the lockdown ends. So I decided to quit job from Kozhikode, and I have to say that many people were advising me to do what next, like that. And one of them was MM Akbar, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got contact with one of his wives, and she directed me to what to do and how to present it in home. She said that whatever sometimes our parents will cry in front of us. They may say that they will commit suicide. Whatever happens, you have to be strong, like that. She advised me, and not only she, but many of my patients. I was doing physiotherapy right there, and I had a lot of Muslim patients, and their bystanders advised me that you should be strong in your decision. So, and they also offered that to be strong and to fight this crisis, that problems come after conversion. You have to fight this problem. So you should not be alone. So it is better to get married. And they introduced many marriage proposal to me, and even some of them, they were themselves ready to marry me. But I said that my intention is not that. If my intention is good, Allah will protect me. I don't want that all things. Otherwise, I will be one such victim, like what now Nimisha, Fatima, or Sonia, Sebastian, or Marin is what their fate was. It would be my fate also.
So basically, you are saying that unlike the other girls who converted from Christianity to Islam or Hindu to Islam, a lot of girls in Kerala were entrapped and made to convert. You really didn't want to get married at that point in time. But I remember that, after the conversion happened and all that thing happened, you did come back to your hometown, your home, and there's some transformation happened, some magical transformation happened to you. Can you tell our viewers what really happened?
As the RSS activist came to know that I'm going to convert, they connected my family with Arsha Vidya Samajam, and my brother came to me and said, even if they had no answers to my question, that's a place where you could get all the answers. Are you ready to come or not? They asked me like that, and I said, okay, I'm ready to come wherever you want, but in one condition, that when I left that place, either I will be a complete Muslim or I will be a complete Hindu. And they agreed the condition, and I went to Arsha Vidya Samajam, and there I met Acharya Sri Manojji, and he started to talk me about the Islam. The peculiarity of the Arsha Vidya Samajam is the courses it offers. Arsha Vidya Samajam organizes a course called Adhyatmika Shastram, in which the Sanatana Dharma is taught from its terminology onwards, and also it includes the comparative religion study, which is the most beneficial thing to reconvert one who are being get converted, not only to Islam, Christianity, or any other ideologies other than Hinduism. That is Sanatana Dharma. And Acharyaji started to talk me about, he took a particular subject and he pointed the verses in the Quran and told me that using the intellect that God given you, please think that whether a God will tell this or not. And he slowly analyzed each and every topic, and he told me about the flaws of Quran, that claims that Muslims claims about the Quran are totally wrong, and one by one he told me, and he said me to think before you take a decision.
I remember. Go on.
And the ideology which I was carrying for about 5 to 6 years, that nobody could change my mind. I was that much brainwashed. That ideology which I was carrying for about 5 to 6 years, Acharyaji proved that ideology is totally wrong just within 3 hours. It is the only, just a thing to show that how powerful the syllabus is, that is Adhyatmika Shastra syllabus. It was the courses offered by Arsha Vidya Samajam changed my life. I got to know about what Sanatana Dharma is, who gave it, what is the content in it, what is the utility of Sanatana Dharma, and I could know all these things, why I am performing this and these rituals, why all the questions that my friends once asked, I got all the answers, and I was totally satisfied. And I thought that I want to do something to this society. Once I believed that this love jihad or forced conversions are all agenda of some Hindu organizations, and they are all simply saying that to ruin Islam. I thought like that only. And after coming here, after coming to Arsha Vidya Samajam, I came to know that it was not a fake story. It is ultimately the real fact that was that forced conversions and jihad through love or intellectual jihad and many other kinds of narcotic jihad all are happening in this society. It is true. Within this, Arshavidya Samajam have been working for about 23 years, and till this 23 years, we are able to bring 7,000 ladies and men
That's
who
wonderful.
were about to go to or who were about at the verge of conversion. We could bring them back only
wonderful.
through these courses.
That's wonderful, Anagha. But I remember this distinct thing I read about you when you entered the Arshavidya Samajam for the first time. I think it's located in Tripunithura, a suburb of Kochi. Am I right?
Now we are functioning at Trivandrum.
Okay, now you're functioning at But the one you had gone was, you were told that you were being taken to Kollam, but you finally ended up in Tripunithura, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when you entered that place, you when you saw the acharyas for the first time, you uttered a word, isn't it? That you never said that word for the last 5 years when you were more attracted to Islam. Can you tell our viewers about that?
Okay, when I entered the Arshavidya Samajam, I was saying in my mind that A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, that please protect me from the Satans here. Oh Allah, I was praying like that and entering to the Arshavidya Samajam, and I decided to convert all people in the Arshavidya Samajam to Islam and go before I leave. I was thinking like that only, and I entered, and then I got appointment with Acharyaji. The first time I saw him, I was really, what to say, I was really felt where I have reached, that I was really, I was not surprised. Some happiness I was experiencing while I saw Acharyaji for the first time. And in Islam, it is haram to wish a human, that is, or bow before a human. It is haram. Only you should bow only before Allah. But as I saw Acharyaji itself, I automatically touched my heart and said Namaste. I thought, what I have done? Because in Islam, it is completely haram. Why I am doing this? And suddenly I came out of that.
That's wonderful. I think, Anusha, if you're still there, the relationship that you talked about earlier, when your parents were so disturbed when your sister came back in a format that she was getting into Islam, and you were talking about how your parents kept crying all night. They were scared what would finally happen. Would kind of Anagha convert to an Islamic religion? I mean, the torture that you all went through, you and your sister, your three of you, I think that must have been a lesson for you as well, as to if same thing has happened to you, you would have possibly reacted the same way. Anusha?
As I told earlier, her character has changed completely. She started questioning father for doing pujas and challenged our mother, who is a Krishna devotee, saying that if you cry all time calling Krishna, Krishna, he will not come and save you. And she was insisting everyone to believe in Allah and it's only the truth. She was completely becoming a rebel in that short span of time. Her dressing style changed. She started getting frustrated if she was not able to do namaz at correct time, and even she showed this frustration to our cousin's 4-year kid. She was very fond of her, but due to this frustration, one day when the kid compelled her to play during the time of namaz, she wantedly beaten her. Seeing all these changes, we all was crying daily without knowing what to do. It was really sleepless nights for us. At last, our parents told her that if you go, we don't have any other option than committing suicide. They begged by falling on her feet that not go. But as per Islam, since they are kafir, their tears don't even bother her. We started losing all our hopes, and each day we used to live with the fear that what we will do if she goes away. During that time, someone who saw her in clinic with hijab fell down and informed some RSS workers. Through them we came to know about Arsha Vidya Samajam, and as a last hope we brought her here. After reaching here only we understood how terrific is the ideologies of Islam, and before we used to think like every religion is same and it's one's wish to follow whatever they like. But after reaching Arsha Vidya Samajam we came to know that there is a terrible system or strategy is happening for conversions. Each and every day Arsha Vidya Samajam workers is getting at least 20 calls from heartbroken parents telling to save their children from these traps. Such a horrible situation is happening here. We very well know the situation of these parents since we have faced the same. After reaching Arsha Vidya Samajam we understood that proper learning and practicing of our dharma is the only solution for this. The motto of Arsha Vidya Samajam itself is Krinvanto Vishwamarya, to make this world noble by spreading the message of Sanatana Dharma. We also realized that lots of family are suffering each day. So thinking that we have worked for this, and if at least our experience can change one's life, we will be happy, and we three sisters became full-time workers of Arsha Vidya Samajam.
Anagha, your sister Anusha spoke so touchingly about the entire trauma that the family was going through. Suicide was a sure shot. Both your sisters and your parents had decided to commit suicide in case you stepped out of the house and converted to Islam. They were at that stage when Arsha Vidya Samajam came in. I mean, come to think of it, there are religious institutions like these which have saved thousands of young girls from conversion to Islam, because they didn't say that become a Hindu or come back to Hinduism or come back to Sanatana Dharma. What they did was they did a comparative teaching, and that is what Anagha was telling us. Anagha, even when you finally sat with the acharyas and when you debated with them, when you spoke to them, how did that change happen in you? Because you were so hardwired onto becoming, converting into Islam. That change must not have been easy. Can you take us through that?
We are saying that only people with three conditions, we can bring anyone to Sanatana Dharma with the people having three conditions. That is, one, he should be ready to talk to us. Second one, he should have a common sense. And third one, if one understood the mistake, he should admit it that it is a mistake. And fortunately, I had these three conditions, and by thinking using my intellect and logic and the facts that have science discovered, it was purely against the Quranic verses or the things Quran, scientific facts that said in Quran was completely against what science has discovered now, and even the status of women in Islam. What during my Islamic studies, I thought that, or I was fed like that, like wearing such pardas or not exposing my body is for the safety or protection of women, and the women should live like that only. You should be always under men, and you have no freedom like that. And I thought that it is for our safety only. But when I came here and I openly think, Acharyaji made me to think openly about what is the status of women. You have to think by yourself, what is the capacity of a woman, whether they are just a machine for making kids only, like that I was thinking. And the cruelty the Prophet Muhammad had done to the non-Muslims at that time, he exposed all those things, and I came to know that how rubbish this ideology is. I'm not saying I am not saying about the Muslims or others. I am saying this about this ideology only. What Quran and Hadith says about how a man should live, like that, and all the things that I thought which was scientific was proven to be unscientific, and I tried to counter him with with the points I had, but I couldn't get any. I was totally. I totally failed before him because I had no valid reason to support Islam anymore. And I, at that day itself, I fall to the feet of Acharyaji, and I said that I don't want to go to this religion. I am sorry for all my actions. And at that day, at time itself, I called my parents and I said that I'm not converting to Islam, and they were actually crying with joy. I can't even say what how much happiness that was at that time.
Anusha, I mean, that's it. Anagha, it's so wonderful because I think only if you're a parent of a girl child, or even a boy for that matter, especially for a girl, it's more touching when a girl decides to leave her own religion and goes and comes back. I think that is why the title of this show also, we're saying, the Kerala story, the movie that is coming out, actually talks about something else. It's a more of a love jihad. But here in, I think, Anagha's case, it was more of intellectual jihad, if I can call it that way, because nobody forced her. She went on her own, but the initial brainwashing was done because of the fault of the Hindu society. We don't have Arsha Vidya Kendram kind of set up everywhere. We need that. We need our children to be taught what a Sanatana Dharma is, how to answer question. Why is Lord Hanuman a monkey? Or why does Lord Ganesh have a head of an elephant? Which parent can explain it in today's, as Anagha was saying, oh, our forefathers used to do it, so we are doing the puja. There's no logic explained there. But there is a logic, which is what AVS, the Acharyas explained to her so well. This is what is lacking in our today's society. And I think more and more as we get into a nuclear family setup, we get into a kind of a not so religious setup. This is what is going to happen to our children, because they one day will be in a hostel, or they'll be in an environment where they'll be asked these questions, and then the religion will be ridiculed and told, oh, what, you're worshipping stones. But we are a dharma, we are a religion, we have a system. We are a Hinduism, which is so old, the oldest religion in the world possibly. But how many of us are proud to wear that on our sleeve? I think I should literally thank Anagha, because I don't know how to thank you, because you proved that it is possible. It's possible for a hardwired person like you, who had 100% decided to convert to Islam, to come back to the Sanatana Dharma, thanks to those Acharyas whom you met at Arsha Vidya Samajam. I think that is where it's all about, isn't it? Because education is important. Kerala is supposed to be a 100% literate state. Anusha, as a closing comment, I just want to bring you back on. Anagha has said a story. I think I just want to ask you as a closing comment, how did you feel when, or you and your sister feel, because there are three of you, how did all three of you feel when finally, you came back together as one big happy family?
Well, sir, I don't know whether words will be able to express happiness, because after reaching Arsha Vidya Samajam, also for the first 2 days, we were really hopeless, because after talking to many of the teachers here, she was still at confusions. So we were at the verge of losing all our hopes. And on the third day, as she told, she met Acharyaji, and with 3 hours of discussions, she left the ideology completely, and she came to us and hugged us tightly, and she told, from now onwards, I don't want that. I will not go back, and I will be your sister, and we have to enjoy as we were doing like that. She was still.
Anagha, I know, Anusha, it's very, very emotional. I know, tears in your eyes. I think even I am feeling very emotional here, sitting in the studio so far away from Kerala, but I can understand what you all went through. I think there is a message in this particular interview that I've done today, possibly very emotional one. I've not done something like this because I usually interview politicians, I interview personalities, but here are two young girls from Kerala. The third one, of course, I wish she was also on the show, but she's somewhere else now. She's not there at home. And their parents, I think hats off to their parents because they stood their ground. I think they believed that a magic could happen even when they had no hope at all. As Anusha was mentioning, they were in a really hopeless state, but they all came back. And I think that is the beauty of the Sanatana Dharma. And I think that is where we are all encompassing. We say Vasudeva Kutumbakam, but the very origin of that quote is very controversial by itself. But that is what it is all about. We are one big happy family. We are the Hindu family. And I think that is what the Kerala story movie actually brings forth a different context to this. But what we saw here in case of Anagha was that she was actually indoctrinated into a religion because of the fault that we have in the Hindu religion of not able to explain to our children what this is all about, what our religion is all about, what our gods are all about. How many of us go to the temples regularly? The Christians do go to the church every Sunday. And as Anagha was mentioning, there was the situation where even Muslim students were given 1 hour break during lunch break on Fridays to go and pray. But would a Hindu get it? No, not possible at all. That is what is happening today. We don't respect our religion. We don't feel proud of our religion. I think the Kerala story is a wake-up call, and I think all of you should go and watch that movie. All our viewers should go and watch that movie and understand the dangers that the society exposes us today. Anagha, thank you a lot. I don't know how to thank you, but I mean, you're a brave lady, and thank you for believing in the Sanatana Dharma. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anusha. Thank you also
for this opportunity. No, I have to add a point to this. There is a major fault in our society that we are not giving our children the dharmic education, and along with on the other hand, that Muslims or Christians, they are giving education from the childhood onwards. So they are taught that to convert another person to their religion is the most holy thing that they can do in their life. So from childhood onwards, they themselves act as missionaries. They may be intentionally or non-intentionally asking us questions and putting us into confusion and criticizing our things because they think that what they are studying or what they are practicing is right. But in my case, there is no intentional. I am not saying that my friends intentionally or forced me to conversion, but there are forced conversions going on, and it is a truth. I have to add it also. Thank you.
Thank you, Anagha. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Anusha, for being there with us today at the Nationalist Hub Conversations. It was a wonderful conversation, and I'm sure a lot of us learned a lot of lessons out of it. Thank you, Anagha, Anusha. Thank you. And I'm sure I should salute all of you, all the brave girls in your household. And next time I'm there, I will come and see you people up because it's very close to the place where my village is located. So thank you for being there, and thank you for saving the Sanatana Dharma. Thank you very much. Namaste. This, ladies and gentlemen, what we saw today, this conversation that we had with Anagha is extremely important. And each one of us should understand what really happening in our society. Kerala is just a case in point, but there are many other things which are going wrong in our society. One is not saying be a hardcore Hindu, that's what the words used by many people are, but be proud of a religion. As Anagha was saying, a Muslim child is taught her religion or his religion from the time they're young. The Christians have the Sunday classes. But what do we have? Nothing. Because we feel it very proud to go to a mall or a kind of a park or anywhere else, but not a temple. Can't even explain to our children what the basic things about a religion are. It's not a stone. It emits power. An idol, a murti emits power. Our kshetras are the most powerful institution that you can ever see from thousands and thousands of years. Ladies and gentlemen, think about it. It's extremely important. The Kerala story is not just somebody else's story. It's my story. It's your story. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.
ఈ వీడియో మీకు నచ్చినట్టయితే లైక్ చేయండి, 10 మందికి షేర్ చేయండి. అలాగే కామెంట్ల రూపంలో మీ అభిప్రాయాలను మాతో పంచుకోండి. నేషనలిస్ట్ హబ్ గ్రూప్ ఆఫ్ ఛానల్స్ ను సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకుని తెలుగునాట జాతీయవాద జర్నలిజాన్ని ప్రోత్సహించండి. ఈ వీడియో కింద ఉన్న బెల్ ఐకాన్ పై క్లిక్ చేయడం మర్చిపోవద్దు.